was like, wait, this is all a full circle thing. It's a full circle moment. And support really stems from you seeking validation. Welcome to Kalan the Voice Podcast. I'm your host, Anel, and here we talk about all things healing, growing, and evolving in full transparency, and we are on episode 12. Thank you. Thank you. You guys, wow. I'm not gonna lie, I think this is like the first time that I actually got, I'm gonna stop touching my hair, but hold on, it's in my eye. You guys, I was literally called to speak on today's topic because it happened in 3 scenarios. So today is going to be a little bit of a story time about how I came up with the topic of support. And this is all going to make sense and bring it back to one of my first episodes about validation. So it is very interesting how that worked out. But let's get into the episode. So for starters, I was in a predicament in my personal life where I was supportive of something that I did not agree with. And I used to be very black and white. Overall, I am a black and white person. I either am all in or it's nothing. And this past week, I've had to realize that when it comes to supporting others, there is 2 sides of the spectrum when it comes to that. And I wasn't showing up in the way that I would have if I did fully agree and support. Does that make sense? So it was very interesting to me because I started to see that the other person was almost searching something in me that I always give, which is like, you know, full-blown support, very communicative, you know, all the things that I am. And I wasn't really doing that. And it's not that I wasn't there for this person. I want to emphasize on that because it's not that I wasn't there and being supportive. It was more so I wasn't showing up as I fully would because I just don't agree with the situation. And I mean, I feel like I felt bad at first. I did, because I felt like I could have given more, but also I feel like I didn't know what to do or say that was going to make it any better, and I didn't want to make it any worse or say something to be offensive. So I did still reach out, make sure the person was okay, but you know, I did hold back on some things because it was a different situation for me, and I didn't want to make it about myself, and I also didn't want to bombard the person with so many questions and, you know, voicing my opinion, because that's not what that person needed. And there's a very big difference when someone wants to be heard and someone wants support. It is two very different things. And I think I have a really big talent. Well, is it a gift or a talent? I think it's probably both. I know how to differentiate the difference between that. And I feel like in this situation, this person didn't want my advice. They didn't want any of that. They just wanted to be heard. And I did that even though I didn't understand or agree. That's the first circumstance where I started to think about maybe this should be my next episode topic. Then somebody calls me and it's like, hey, I need your opinion on this because, you know, something happened in a situation where, again, 2 parties are supportive of each other, but one doesn't agree with the other. And I was like, you know what, it's so crazy you actually called me with that, because I've actually was in a particular situation this week too. And it just made me realize, like, I need to talk about this, because why does this keep coming up? Like, it just don't make no type of sense as to why this keep coming up. I told the person, it is very normal for you to support something you don't agree with. And oftentimes we don't have to always agree with people's decisions and how they think and their morals. We don't always have to. Now, there are certain things where you're like, I really can't rock with you too much, or I can't be too close to you because we just don't have the same way of thinking in a lot of things. But it's really okay to agree to disagree. I even put it on my close friends. I was like, guys, does it make you uncomfortable to like agree with something, or support something you don't agree with? And everybody was like, yeah, but people do what they want, and at the end of the day, like, all you gotta do is be supportive, because it's, what can you do? But one person in particular, she was like, maybe this person is trying to seek validation in you, and, well, at least through you, because they care about your opinion and they value what you say and how you think of them. And something in that moment clicked. I was like, wait, this is all a full circle thing. It's a full circle moment. And support really stems from you seeking validation. Remember, this whole thing right now was me working on my validation for months. Remember, I told you, I didn't tell a soul about this because I had to agree with me and God that this was a great idea. Because when I put it out into the world, and I still do, and I still post, and I still do what I do, it is great. That's the second scenario where support came up. Third scenario, I go to this event, and it's an event for businesses. Everybody is entrepreneurs of some sort, and they're sharing their business and all that, and the topic of support keeps coming up. And I'm like, you know what? What is going on? Like, what is happening? And everybody's like asking questions like, how do you deal with people not supporting you and your friends and your family and all that? And I'm just there thinking, right? I'm like, I think I have to say something about support. But I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like, I'm gonna just sit in my seat, sit tight, because technically I don't really have a business. So, is a podcast considered a business? Comment down below. I don't know. I really felt the urge to say something about support, because 3 times the charm, like, in 3 completely different scenarios, it had to be a sign that I have to speak on this for some reason. As I am sitting down and, the owner of the event, she's talking and she's like, anybody wants to come up and volunteer and talk about their business or, just say anything. And I'm just there and I get this rush. And I don't think I've ever explained what I feel when I feel called to say something and use my gift. It feels like I'm about to have a heart attack. Not to exaggerate to that extent, but it feels like my body, I really don't know how to explain it. But when I feel the urge to do something, my body trembles so bad, and it just feels like I need to say it. If not, I'm gonna pass out. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, God, why do you want me to talk right now? Like, this is not my event. Like, this is not my thing. I'm the only podcaster here. Everybody else is about business. Like, I don't know anything about entrepreneurship. People are not gonna listen to me. It's not gonna be of value. And he's like, what did I say? I need you to go and talk about support. You know what? God is so funny, because these are things that I asked for. And he'll put me on the spot to see if I'll be obedient enough. In a space where technically I fit in, but I really don't fit in, because I don't do what everybody else does. And yeah. So I feel like if I don't obey, and every time I don't obey, I feel terrible about myself. Like, I was feeling so convicted for not doing it that I was like, no, I cannot continue to be in my own way and not listen to God. Like, it feels uncomfortable to ignore him. which is crazy because I didn't feel that way before. Like, it used to make me feel uncomfortable, but it gave me more comfort. Now it makes me uncomfortable to not do exactly what he says. So I get up and I talk, and I start talking about support and how it's rooted in your validation. And you know, it went well. I actually got the video of it, and after that, everybody started coming up to me like, wow, like, we see why you have a podcast, like, you speak so well. You know, exchanging information and networking, and you know, all that is great. But the fact that people understood what I said, and it made them see how support is so much bigger than other people. Because support seems very external until you realize that it's internal. And it really gave me a full circle moment as to why all of this makes sense. There's everything that I've ever been through that I continuously work on, it's for other people. Okay? Had I not kept my mouth shut for 2 years and worked on my validation through this whole entire thing that you are seeing or listening to right now, I would have never been able to speak on that at that event yesterday, or with that person that called me, or being in that predicament of that I was in, you know. And wow, I actually got goosebumps saying that. Come on. God is very intentional, and all of this has a purpose. Everything has a purpose. I really work hard to stop questioning why certain things happen. And you know, because had I not spoken, people would have never gotten the message. And what if what I said was like an answered prayer? Who knows? Not to put myself on a pedestal, but it really did impact people, and it made people see that, wow, it really does start with me. But yeah, that was a little quick story time. And yeah, that's why I came up with this topic today. Moving forward as to how you're dealing with support. And before I even started this, I feel like I didn't start sooner because I didn't feel supported. And it's normal to want to be supported. If you say, oh, I don't really care about who supports me or not, to a certain extent, you actually do care. And that's okay. But not to the extent where it's stopping you from doing what you want to do or what needs to get done. Because when I first started this podcast, everybody was on board and, you know, hyping me up and whatever. And it felt good. It felt all right. But then it slowed down because people just, I don't know what it is about the human being. You know, everybody is not going to support everything. And it really goes back to maybe people don't support because they don't understand it. And they don't agree. And that's fine. And there's people that do support and agree. And that's why they engage with it. But if I really stay focused on the fact that people are not liking my stuff, people are just watching, people are doing this, people are doing that, and I don't record because I feel like it's not showing out into the world, at the end of the day, people are still watching. It doesn't matter what anybody says, people are watching. Because I guarantee you in person, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, I saw you did that, but you didn't like it. And don't get me wrong, some people innocently just don't engage. But there's others that watch you and they're only gonna clap when other people are supporting you, which is insane, okay? But the root as to why you want to be supported is because you want to be validated. You want people to say that your ideas are great and that this looks good, and you know they're reposting it, and their support feels good from others because that means that you know what else to do next, and it gives you like analytics about what you could do better, what you can do more of. And at the end of the day, it is important, but also being so fixated as to why people don't support you is an external thing. at the end of the day. But also, it's more of an internal thing, because if you validate your own ideas and you say, this is great, I don't care if I have 4 likes, and whoop-de-doo, okay? It does not matter. It doesn't. Because I know this is great. I know that I have good things to say. So at the end of the day, whoever likes it, whoever doesn't, that doesn't really faze me. Would I like for people to engage with my stuff more? Absolutely, because it helps a lot. But that's not always the case. So I can't be too attached to that, because that's going to ruin the way I create, ruin the way that I show up, ruin the way that I am consistent, you know? So that's that. And I have an episode on validation, okay? This is all connecting perfectly. Let's talk about navigating through support. With friends and family, right? Because, strangers will support you 10 times more than your family and friends. If you are doing something that they have never done, they're not going to understand it, because they've never done it. So people only question things that they don't understand. And if you go out and try to further explain as to why you do, like why this is important and why you should be supporting me, you are going to drain yourself. And you are going to hold on to ideas because you feel like people are not going to support it. And the fact of the matter is that a lot of people, especially your family and friends, they see your light, they see your talent, they see your potential. And maybe they feel like if I support, she's gonna surpass something. Jealousy and envy is a real thing. If you're jealous of somebody, you want what they want. Like, you want to be them almost. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to be them. But if you're envious, it's like, I would like to have that characteristic. I would like to be more like this. But, hey, that's how I view those two things. But at the end of the day, it is great if people support you, but that's not always going to be the case, especially from your family and friends. They're not always going to be on board with everything. They're not, but guess what? At the family function, at the friends' dinner, yeah, they're going to bring it up because they're watching. More people watch than they like and support. And that is perfect. Because guess what? When I make it to where I want to make it, and then you want to clap for me, I'm going to remember that. I'm going to remember everybody who supported me now when I am literally in the beginning stages, okay? And I might buy you a taco truck. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I may be balling. You never know. And that's not to say that I'm going to bribe you or whatever. But I really am appreciative of people who support me from the beginning, who watch every episode, who are literally like, girl, where is the next thing at? Pressing me about anything. Or if I am, the other day somebody was like, just 10K followers, you'll surpass that for sure before December. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Like, what am I saying? Like, are you kidding me? That is very attainable before December. On to today's Boundaries Baddies tip. And if you don't know, I give unsolicited advice because I want to. It is what it is. You can take it or leave it, all right? Today's Boundaries Baddies tip is, when you don't feel supported, go back to the root of being validated. Go back to validating your idea and saying, this is good, or let me fix this so it can be better. And focus on that, because if you are relying on outside sources and the external world to constantly support you, everybody is not going to always agree what you're saying or what you're doing. And also, you're not entitled to support. That's the truth, okay? Hey now, I keep it, what? 1,000, correct. Everybody does not have to support you, and you don't have to support everybody. That is the fact of the matter. That's it and that's all. Okay? So when you feel like, you worked so hard on something and you really would like for people to, share and support you in anything, just keep in mind that the people that you think will support you probably won't. And also, it is okay to disagree with something that you support, because at the end of the day, people are going to do what they want. But anyway, that's it for today's episode. I really hope you guys enjoyed, learned something new. How do you deal with support? How do you maneuver through navigating people not supporting you, especially those that you want to support you? So make sure that you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure that you turn on your post notifications so you get notified every time I upload a new video. And most importantly, make sure you're doing it for yourself every single day. Bye.